together. Cold lake wind and orange lights, Sunday fire, dog pound nights. We won the scars, we stood the test, brown and orange across our chest. From the Muni Lock to the end zone line, this city's heart still beats in time. Through every loss and every dream, you can feel it rise. There's a gleam. Let's get the gleam together. This is our time. Let's get the gleam together. Whoa. Let's get the gleam together. This is our town.
And good afternoon, and welcome to our show. There's a Gleam podcast, the Cleveland Browns podcast. Today is Wednesday, April 15th, 2026. It is 12:02 p.m. It is tax day, so I hope you got your taxes done and you're getting them done today, or you filed an extension. Also, it's Taco Week here in the land, so let me know where are some good must-go-tos for tacos. I'm looking to maybe go to a place later today with my buddy, so... and if you're watching live, yes, it is only me today. I am flying solo as my partner, John, is still on his anniversary vacation. We hope he's having fun with his wife. They're in the U.S. Virgin Islands down at St. John, so must be nice. But I don't know about you, but I am loving this warm weather. If you live here in the land, you know we've been enjoying the last few days or so in the 70s, near 80-degree weather. It felt like we had a brutal winter this past season between the cold and the snow. So something about the sun and warm weather always makes me feel a little better. And it's getting close to boating season, which is just around the corner. So looking forward to that. Nice to see the sun shining and warm weather. And to get it out of the way, you can follow us on social media here. And you know the places, hopefully by now. You can follow us on YouTube, Facebook at There's a Gleam Podcast. You can follow me on X. If you're watching on X, then you know it's at Hemi44, and John is at Get the Gleam. We're also both on TikTok, and you can follow and subscribe on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify at There's a Gleam Podcast, the Cleveland Browns podcast. Just look for our logo. So we appreciate you liking, subscribing, following, sharing the word, spreading the word. It helps us. So helps us build what we're doing here. So we appreciate that. And on that note, we got a lot to talk about today. I think I say that every week, though, just when you think there's not much to talk about. But we're going to talk some Browns news, some rumors, a little bit of AFC North, not that much today, but a little bit of draft rumors. I'll be doing my 2-minute drill. Of course, we're going to talk draft talk, my latest mock draft 3.0. I got my dog down here and she's walking around on laminate floor. So if you hear some noise, that could be her. I'm doing the land featuring Joey's Avenue Eatery. And if you're a corned beef fan, you want to check that out. Maybe do a poll or two. I'd love to hear from you today. Looking for some good interaction. Help me get through this show. So again, if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or X, send me your thoughts and comments. It's going to be interesting to see how long the show goes. If it's under an hour, or over an hour without John. Well, I guess we'll find out who does most of the talking. So with that note, we're going to get going. But who was it? StreamYard added a new feature this past week. So we're going to have a little bit of fun with it. And I thought, do I have that up yet? No, I don't think I do. As you can see, if you know of a good taco place, it's Taco Week. Put them in the comments. Let me know. We're thinking about heading a place either today or tomorrow. I know it's going for a few more days. But anyway, on that note, let's get to some Browns news. Not a whole lot. Most of this stuff's going to be focused, I think, on draft stuff. There was one interesting tidbit I thought was that Joe Bitonio returned to Northern Nevada this past weekend. He had his 5th annual youth football camp, and still haven't heard what's going on. Is he coming back? Is he not? Is he playing somewhere else? Is he retiring? What's going on? But he was quoted as saying, they interviewed him at one of the local papers, and he was quoted as saying, "I'm just kind of living life right now. I've been spending a lot of time with family, and I've played football for 25 years, so any decision you make is a big decision." if you come back, if you want to play for the Browns, if you want to play for another team, if you want to retire, all those things are in my mind and a big decision for me to make. So I guess we're still going to wait then. Let me know what you guys think. Are you over Bitonio? Are you hoping he comes back? Could care less. At this point, I'd say I probably don't care anymore. If he comes back, great. I think he'd still be productive. If he doesn't, let's roll with what we got and move forward. It's going to come anyway. So, yeah, I guess we'll see. With that, Miles, seems like there's always Miles news. Always everybody and their mother wants to trade him. So the latest one I had heard was Miles trade. However, ESPN's Dan Graziano suggests that it's more likely that Miles gets another contract bump from the Browns this offseason than gets traded. So that was kind of refreshing to hear. And I would probably agree with that. So we'll see. We'll see if he stays, if he gets traded. I just want it to be over. I'm tired of talking about it. So hopefully you guys are. My man, James. What did James have to say? New wide receiver I like in this draft is Ted Hurst. Dude reminds me of Pickens. Yep, I agree, James. He's a fast riser. I've actually seen a few people talk about him now and think he's rising and could be a future number one. So he's a guy that's definitely been rising up the boards, and I expect him to go, I don't know about day one, but definitely day two in that second round, maybe third. And he absolutely hopes Bitonio comes back. Always great to have a guy like him in the locker room. I would agree. I just hate with these guys. I know you're trying to make a decision, but I wonder if the Browns do know, or if they already know and they're just not saying. I mean, you're prepping for the draft. I mean, they've made moves already, so he can still fit in, gives them depth. With some of the other guys, maybe you move Jenkins from guard to center from the Packers where he played. I just want to know. I just want to be done with it. So anyway, Fox Sports, I saw this ridiculous trade offer. It was Fox Sports, I believe. Ralph Vasciano believed that the Bears could make an offer too good. Let me say that again. Too good for the Browns to turn down by sending the Browns a 2026 this year third round pick, which would be 89th overall, and a 2027 sixth round pick for five-time Pro Bowler, 29-year-old standout cornerback Denzel Ward. What? Too good for who? For the Bears? Yeah. I'm not trading my Pro Bowl shutdown corner for a third round pick and a sixth round pick next year. That is no, hell no. Hell no. I don't know if anybody would do that except for the Bears. I mean, they're out of their mind. So, yep. The guy that proposed that trade is smoking crack. Man, you might be onto something there. That was just insane. Again, it's silly season. We're getting to that point where there's so much stuff going around. People are just throwing stuff out there. So I know for me, this draft can't get here soon enough. I'll be glad when it's over. Another little bit of interesting tidbit I heard, speaking of draft, which we're going to focus on more later, but just wanted to, touch upon some stuff. According to Albert Breer, who I do like, I respect him. I like a lot what he says. There's three names that are most associated with the Browns at pick 6. And so far it's been Francis Maui Noah, Spencer Fano, and Carnell Tate. And it'd be a tough call between Maui Noah and Tate if both were there at 6. So that's kind of it. I mean, it's not surprising. What two biggest needs for the Browns are offensive line, specifically tackle and wide receiver. So let's try this new. I'm going to ask you 2 questions. I got a poll I want to see. Curious to see what everybody thinks. And that first one is, what do you think the Browns will do at pick 6? Do you think they'll select the player? Do you think they're going to trade down? Do you think they'll trade up? Kind of curious to see what others think, what they're going to do. Me personally, I'm kind of fully bracing myself for them to trade back. Starting to see a lot more about it. And I still think that, Andrew Berry's probably looking to recoup draft picks, from the Deshaun Watson trade. Dominic said, hell no. I know you're talking about the Denzel Ward trade. That's for sure. I wouldn't be mad if Ione from Penn State either dude is yep. No, he is. He's probably, some people say he's the best lineman in the draft, regardless. You know, he's a guard, but yeah, he definitely looks like a dog. I see a lot of mocks. In fact, mine might even include it too, with him going to Pittsburgh. So that could be interesting. But and then I thought this was interesting too. Per Dane Brugler, one of the reasons the Browns last year passed on wide receiver Tatoria McMillan, who was offensive rookie of the year, was because they had an incomplete testing profile on him. What they meant by that is all he did was run the 40-yard dash, which was 4.53. And I'm trying to think, what did Carnell Tate run? Oh, yeah, he ran a 4.53. And that was also the only drill he did at the combine, just like McMillan. So I don't know. That kind of scared me a little bit when I heard that. Let's hope history doesn't repeat itself. And let's also hope that maybe the Browns learned a lesson there. So, but I heard that yesterday. I was like, ooh, is there a correlation with that? And then I just saw this morning, and this one, I ain't gonna lie to you, this one really, really freaked me out. They had both Mel Kiper and Todd McShay had their latest mock drafts come out. Both of them, to no surprise, had the Browns trading back, and both of them actually also had them trading back with the Dallas Cowboys. This is where it freaks me out. I don't mind if they trade back. Like I said, I'm kind of expecting it. If you can move back to 12, get another number one for next year. I think next year's draft, all reports supposed to be outstanding. I'm all for loading up. Again, I also believe that, you know, this year you play Shedeur Sanders, start him at quarterback. Let's see if he can be a franchise quarterback. You know, if he is, great. Home run. Now you got 2 draft picks potentially to go and keep building this team. And if he's not, well, you got 2 draft picks now to move up and get that franchise quarterback, hopefully. So I'm all for it. But what scares me is both of them had them selecting Alabama tackle Caden Proctor, who's just he's a massive man, but he might be a little too massive for my liking. I think at one point they reported he was weighing in at 390 pounds. I think he's somewhere around 360, 370 right now, somewhere in that range. And our previous history of Bama tackles is not good either. But, you know, DeJuan Jones, love him. He battles weight issues. I don't want another tackle with weight issues. There's too many other good pieces, you know, with that pick. If you were to drop to 12, I'd rather go, if they're there, Maui Noah, Fano. Hell, I'd even go at Freeling, take a shot at him. At least he's got, you know, but that scares me a little bit. But like I said, you're going to hear some funny stuff this time of the year. So I guess you'll have to see. What did James have to say? Luckily, they brought Tate and Lemon and more. Yeah, actually, I think that was the biggest thing they did. They brought in, by all reports, and there's so much we probably don't know. They're not going to say everything, but it looks like they pretty much went heavy with wide receivers, which they should. Let's be honest. Our receiving core is terrible. Jerry Jeudy's your number one, and, you know, we need help. So I hope they do. That being said, I got another poll here. And with this poll, let me pull this one up if I can. This is all new. This is a new one for me. Stop that poll. Let's start this one. And with that one, if the Browns were to stay at pick 6, who do you think the Browns would select at pick 6? Do you think it would be Carnell Tate, or an offensive tackle, Fano or Maui Noah? Maybe another player? If so, who? Or are they going to trade that pick? Again, curious to hear what others think. So if you're watching live, X, you can comment on X. I know they've had issues in the past, but I've been able to on some other shows. So, you know, let me know what you think. YouTube, Facebook. I'm kind of curious to see what others think. So, but yeah, like I said, I'll just be glad when this, you know, we're only 8 days away, Browns fans, and it'll, you know, be over. So that will be fun. And it's different when you're by yourself trying to control everything. I got 4 screens now. I made the move. I bought a couple more monitors. I got about 4 things going on all around me, and it's kind of cool. Yeah, kind of like, oh my God, this being the first show that I've got all these monitors is kind of cool. And also, thanks, John, for not being here, pal. Some pal you turned out to be. Anyway, on that note, let's move on. That's all the Browns news I got today. It's going to be a short little one here. But on that note, I want to kind of move on to some. Well, we're going to go into our the AFC North. And again, I don't have a lot here. I don't want to spend a lot either on them, but most of it's going to be around draft talk and what I'm hearing and what some of the rumors are. And let me pull that up. And so far, what I'm hearing real quick around the AFC North are the Bengals. They're exploring and rumored to be looking at, this is all draft related. They're exploring and rumored to be looking at defensive options with that 10th pick in round 1, which again, I don't think that's that big of a surprise. They need so much defensive help with Hendrickson gone. They could use just about every position in that defense. They could also use offensive line. They have a total of 8 picks in this draft. Steelers, rumors have them possibly looking to move up. I just started hearing this lately, but there's some rumors now circulating that they think that the Steelers could possibly looking to move up from 21 for possibly a wide receiver, which I get it. And I don't really get it though. You got DK Metcalf, you made the trade for Pittman. You got 2 good receivers. You got a lot of other needs. Yeah, but hey, and they said also quarterback. If they want to jump up, move up to boot and give up more draft capital, get Ty Simpson, God bless, go for it. The only thing with them is they have 12 total picks, which leads the NFL. So they're going to have the most picks. And then the Ravens, the rumors I've heard with them, with especially that 14th pick, that they're possibly looking offense, again, specifically tight end and wide receiver. Could also look for center, but I don't think in this draft there's a center worth that high of a pick. So I definitely could see them going tight end or wide receiver. That makes sense to me. Andrews, they lost 2 of their tight ends, so they need some depth behind them. Wide receivers, it seems like they always need wide receivers. Zay Flowers has been solid, but they could always do that. So, and going into the draft, like I mentioned with some, they have 11 total picks. So little breakdown of what our division foes have. Steelers have the most draft picks with 12, and their 5 picks are in the top 100. So they could do some damage. Ravens were tied with the second most draft picks with 11, and 4 of those are in the top 115. I think they got a bunch of compensatory picks, which shot them up, but they have 4 in the top 115. The Browns, we are tied with the 4th most draft picks with 9 total, and 5 of those picks are in the top 107. So I think we can do some damage there. And then the Bengals, they're tied for 5th with most draft picks, and they had 8. And they have 4 in the top 110. So everybody in our division, they're all top 5 or higher with amount of draft picks. So it's going to be interesting to see what our counterparts do and what everybody does. So that's the little bit of news I have with that. Let's get to some comments here. What did James say? I think if Tate is there, they take him. If he's gone, I think they'll take Lemon. Yeah, I could see that. Lemon. I'm probably good with either Tate or Lemon, to be honest with you. The one I just don't want is I don't know for why. He may very well be the most talented of the receivers, but I don't want Jordan Tyson. His injury history just scares me. And you know what? No, take that back. I don't want this guy. Why? Because I just heard this week when Daniel Jeremiah was talking about, he likes, Daniel Jeremiah with the NFL Network. Love him. Think he does a good job. Respect his opinion. He was doing his comparisons. Jordan Tyson, his comparison to Jordan Tyson was Jerry Jeudy. Goodbye. I'm done. If that's your comparison, which actually I didn't think that was that great of a comparison, but okay. That was his comparison. So, if they took Tate or I think we'll get to it a little bit later. It's curious to see what we do with that first pick and second pick, because I think our 2 biggest needs, everyone would agree, is tackle and wide receiver. So it'll be interesting if they go with that strategy and do one of them or not. And then before the season, I just want to say, screw the Steelers. Hey, James, I'll be honest with you, buddy. You can say that any time of the year, screw the Steelers. It's always true and it's always fun. So, James, if I'm not mistaken, I think I heard on my buddy's podcast, The Bearded Browns. I know you fan of theirs too. Did I hear something about you had a scary accident, skateboarding or rollerblade or something? Let me know. I thought I heard them make a comment about that. So if you did, I hope you're okay. You're watching the show, so that's good. And my buddy KB, maybe Sadiq to the Ravens. You know what? Thanks, Brownie. Just steal my thunder for later. I'm doing my mock draft later. Maybe they're taking them, maybe they're not, but I like the way you think. I'll just say that. So appreciate you, KB. Hope you had a good time. I think he went somewhere, took his daughter somewhere, and I forget. So feel the need to share, go ahead and share away. But anyway, that's it with that. In our AFC North news, I don't, NFL news, I don't have much. I don't even know why I'm going to bring it up, but I guess why not? The big news that came out, I think it was yesterday, was Diana Rossini. She announced she submitted a letter to The Athletic, which was posted on social media. I'm not going to read it. You could go see it for yourself, but she is resigning from The Athletic. So that was some news yesterday. I don't know what I think about that. Kind of sucks for her, if I'm being honest. I mean, if all of it's true, it takes two to tango. What happens to Vrabel at that point? I think she takes the brunt of it. With that situation, unfortunately, I think her career takes a bigger hit than Vrabel's if it's all true. Even if it's not true, I think she has an uphill battle, which, let's be honest, it's BS. She shouldn't have to, but whatever. I'm not going to spend too much time with it, but look at us moving along. Usually we do Browns news and that takes 30 to 40 minutes, and we are only 20 minutes in, and we are 3 segments in. So I think it's John that talks too much so far, but we'll see. We got a lot of time, and I want to spend more time on the draft. So, Dom, let me get to some. If we did trade back, how far back would you be comfortable with? It's a good question, Dom. I definitely want to stay in the top 12. If we could stay in the top 10, I don't know. I'll get to it too. There's stuff out there about other teams around us all wanting. Seems like there's a big cluster wanting to trade back. So I thought at one point it was a given. Could be interesting with all the teams. So, but probably for me, no later than 12. I still think you're going to get a starter caliber player. Especially if we can net extra first round picks next year or whatever, I'd probably be okay with it. And then James said, nah, I'm good. Mike was just saying he was glad I didn't get hurt. I hear you. Okay. I thought you maybe did get hurt. So that's awesome. Good for you. Rollerblading. God, I'd probably kill myself if I tried that. I've had 2 hip replacements. So my mobility is about a treadmill, and walking around, that's about it. Walking around at stores, it seems like Costco, things like that. So I used to play a ton of athletics. I still like the golf. In fact, I can get out with my cousin Dominic this year. I keep saying every year I'm going to get out more, and I never do. So every so many years, it seems I get out for a while, and then I take a few years off and go out once or twice. So anyway, on that note, we're going to move along here. And I wasn't going to do it, but I'm going to do my little 2-minute draw. I got some stuff here to talk about. And real quick, wanted to bring up those of you, speaking of golf, those of you that like it, the Masters was this past weekend. And Rory won the Masters for the 2nd year in a row. That was pretty exciting, man. He got off those after day 2, man. He was cruising. I think he had -12. And I think it was a good 6-stroke leader, bigger. And then it got a little closer day 3. And then all of a sudden, day 4, at one point, he lost the lead and came back and ended up coming back and winning it. So good for Rory. I think they said it was 17th time at the Masters last year when he won it. So now back-to-back, year 18. And he becomes the 4th player in history to go back-to-back, joining the great Jack Nicklaus. I think he's called Sir Nick Faldo now, and Tiger Woods being the other one. So I remember when Rory first came out, man, not quite as much hype as Tiger, but pretty darn close. Everybody thought the next great thing. And, he's completed the Grand Slam of tournaments, won them all, each at least once. And now this one multiple times. Great career. And I didn't realize he's only like 30. I want to say 37. Might be wrong. Somewhere around 36, 37. So he's still got a lot of golf left. I don't think he's going to come close to Tiger and Jack with their streaks of most tournaments won of the big ones, but he's having a hell of a career. So good for Rory. And now I can't wait to see what next year's menu is going to be. Everybody, that was all over social media a few weeks back about the Masters winners dinner, and from everything they had, it sounded phenomenal. So I can't wait to see what he does next year. And then we also had, on a personal side note for us here in the land, let me clear some of this out. The NBA playoffs are starting. So that's going to be fun. Our Cavs are in the playoffs. And I pulled this up here. So we're going to face the Toronto Raptors. A little bit of mixed feelings. This year we went 0-3 against them, which that doesn't sound good. But it was early in the season. I think all before December. So, and they weren't blowouts, but they had our number. So they beat us all 3 times this year. So that is a little bit of, concern, I guess, but that being said, we are also 12-2 lifetime against them in the playoffs. So that should be interesting. But anyway, first game is Saturday, April 18th in Cleveland. Time is 1 p.m. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting a little annoyed and sick of all these games being on different streaming services. Football, I hate, oh, you got to put it on Prime. So over here, Peacock's going to have it. No, it's back on your regular, whatever you get, cable or DirecTV, whatever. This one's no different. If you want to watch the Cavs Saturday, you better have Prime to watch the first game. Then Monday, it's in Cleveland. That's a 7 o'clock. And that says PCK. So I don't know what that is. Oh, Peacock. Duh. And then game 3 would be Thursday. That's another thing I don't like. It's basketball playoffs. Why do they take 3 days so long for the Tuesday, Wednesday, 2 days? This is a little better. Sometimes they had almost a week. So anyway, game 3 is Thursday the 23rd. That would be in Toronto. Game 4, that's in Toronto as well. That would be Sunday. And then after that, we'll see if games 5, 6, 7. That's where they alternate. 5 would be back here. That would be on a Wednesday. Friday would be in Toronto if needed. And then Sunday would be game 7 back in Cleveland. So I think this is going to be a good series. I do think it's probably going to go at least 6 games and it could go 7. So, but I do like the Cavs. So go Cavs. They're going Saturday. So that should be fun. And that's all I got for my 2-minute break. So that's about it with that. Let's get into some fun stuff. This week and next week, it's pretty much most stuff's going to be focused on draft. So I definitely want to talk more about that. And the first thing I want to bring up though is next Thursday. I think we talked about it last week, but next Thursday for the draft day 1, the Browns are hosting their draft party. It's going to be at the Cleveland Public Auditorium that night. They're supposed to have all kinds of stuff, players, alumni, events going on. Of course, I have food and drink that you can buy. This is going to be the first time I'm going. John and I are going. We're going to represent There's a Gleam podcast. So we're looking forward to that. Never been to one. I think it could be one of the greatest things. It's going to be one of the biggest shit shows, and I'm going to leave pissed off and throwing stuff. So we'll see. Could go either way. So, but we plan on being there. We're going to be walking around. We're going to get some video. We want to talk to the fans and do some more stuff. So if you see us, please come up, say hi. Maybe we can get you on video and get you on air for our next show. Another thing is we may also have some friends reach out to me. I may have a few extra tickets here, at least an extra ticket or two. I'll know more here shortly. So if you are interested and you can attend the Browns draft party, let me know. Give us a comment. Hit us up on social media, one of our outlets, and I'll know here probably in the next few days. And if I do, might be able to hook you up with some tickets. So, but looking forward to that. Should be fun. What's that? Got a comment here. It was, what player do you think will fall out of the top 10 would be unexpected? Ooh. That's a good question, James. Right now, the latest I've seen over the last day or two, I'm starting to think, I thought at least one offensive lineman was going to go. There's a good chance you might not have a lineman go in the top 10. Some of the stuff being reported. If anybody dropped, I could see Carnell Tate possibly falling just out of the top 10, maybe 11 in Miami. So Sonny Styles, I've also kind of seen him, although I'd be surprised if he did. But Carnell Tate could. There might be another receiver teams fancy. Carnell Tate. And if he does, I would expect it top 14. I don't think he would get past Baltimore. But I'm thinking before a lot of people had Fano and Maui Noah, both first round, top 10. I'm starting to hear it could go one of two ways. Either both are going or neither might go. So we'll see. I don't know. What do you think, James? Who do you think might fall out? I'll be curious to see about that. But anyway, so I was doing some stuff, looking. I'm a hat. I love hats. I probably have about 40 plus hats in my thing. This is probably my favorite Browns hat. I got that at Rally House. So love the Elf. Got it behind me. You can see. So big fan of that. But I did see, and I'm curious to see what others think. They released and put out the NFL draft hats. So real curious to see what others think about that. And I don't know if I have it. So far, nobody's answering the polls that I put up. Start answering, people. But I'm going to put that up. I got to pull up here. Do you like the Browns 2026 draft hat? Yes, you love it. 2, no, you hate it. Or 3, it's okay. Don't love it or hate it. So curious to see what others think. It's okay. It's nothing great. Most of them usually aren't. I mean, let's be honest. It's hard to get creative when you got a Browns helmet as your logo. So, be interesting. But James was following back up. He thinks it's going to be Tate or the tackle from Miami who'll fall. Yeah, Maui Noah. That's that. Yeah, I agree. Those are 2 names lately I'm kind of hearing. Maui Noah especially. Some people, I had him in my mock draft the first one. I had him going 3rd to the Cardinals. I'm not going to spoil it, but I don't think I have him going 3rd anymore. So he very well could fall out of the top 10. I think he's a very strong chance. And like I said, Carnell Tate, I do think too. I think he might, and I think it might be more because somebody likes maybe Lemon or Tyson more, and maybe. But again, I don't think he gets past 11, Miami or somewhere in that range. But we'll see. So, but yeah, curious about the hat, what people think. I don't know, maybe because I'm becoming a bitter old man, but the prices of hats and basically just stuff in general, for me, it's insane. I've seen those hats there on the screen range anywhere from $41 to $56 for a hat, which I don't know. I remember the day spending $25 to $35 for a hat, but I do know the Browns hat they had last year, the brown one with the little logo in the middle. I did like that. And again, I'm a cheapskate. I do love my hats, though. I will spend some money. Those were $50. And I was at Rally House just a couple weeks back. They're still 50. I thought after a year they'd go down. But anyway, curious to see what people think about the hats. And then I did see this as well. So the NFL announced the draft attendees for this year's draft class. And so I thought it was interesting. Everybody, if you've been around, you've seen some of them before. The most notable ones for me are Aaron Rodgers when he sat for a long time, Brady Quinn a little bit, and then the quarterback Tennessee took, Will. In fact, he didn't even get out. Then I think they showed more of his girlfriend or fiance than him, but I know that was kind of brutal to watch. But the NFL did announce their attendees, and there's only 16 this year. A lot of them said they want to stay home with their family, so that's good for them. James said last year's draft hat was my favorite draft hat. This year's all right. Yeah, James, I would agree. Last year's wasn't too bad. This year, I kind of the same way. Don't love it, don't hate it. I've seen worse. So, but this year, and the NFL is pretty good. So there's a few names on here that surprised me. I'm curious to see what you guys think. There's some names on here. The ones that aren't a surprise, David Bailey, we know, I'll expect him to be probably a top 5 pick, definitely a top 10. Reuben Bain, same thing. I expect him to be in the top 10. Mansour Delane, the cornerback out of LSU, I think he's going to be, I think he'll be in the top 15, maybe not. I'm saying somewhere between 7 and 12. I think he would go. So not surprised. Keldrick Falk, the defensive end, definitely can see him. He'll definitely, I think, get drafted in the first. I see him going later in that draft. So he'll be there. Colton Hood, the cornerback, again, another guy. Actually, the one that I think it was it Mel Kiper's and the one he just did? I might be wrong if somebody else knows. He might be, he had the Browns taking him with that, but he'll be there. Mekhi Lemon, the receiver out of USC. Jeremiah Love, arguably some say the best player in this draft. Francis Mauanoa's be there. Caden McDonald, that's the Ohio State defensive tackle. I think he goes first round. I think it's going to be late. Caden Proctor, which, as we talked about, a lot of people have speculating that could be who the Browns are targeting. Arvell Reese, no surprise there. Ty Simpson's going to be an interesting one. Could there be the crazy chance somebody moves up? I'm curious to see, is the Steelers or Jets? Those are about the only 2 teams. Maybe the Cardinals. Are any of those teams desperate enough to take him with the second or with that first round, with a first round pick? So he's the one I'll probably watch the most. And then Sonny Styles, Buckeye, expect to see him there. Go early. Kurt Carnell Tate, another Buckeye. Yep. Again, I believe he's going to be a top 10. James thinks Jeremiah Love is the best prospect in this year. Downs next. They should be true 1 and 2 picks. Yeah, if you're going strictly on just talent, I could see that. They're definitely going to go. I'll be surprised if they're both not in the top 10. Love, I expect top 5. I don't see him going past 5. So we'll see. And then the final one is Jordan Tyson. Again, be a first rounder. I just hope it's not with the Browns. I just don't like his injury history. So those are the 16 guys. Anybody jump out to you guys that, you say, ooh, I don't know. The only ones for me that really stand out, I think McDonald, he'll probably get drafted, the Ohio State defensive tackle in that first round. I wouldn't be totally surprised if he did fall just out of the first round. Ty Simpson, he's a big one. I think there really should only be one quarterback drafted this year in the first round, but everybody knows everybody's quarterback starve for quarterbacks. So people get desperate. So we'll see, but I don't know. Not seeing a lot of the big names like you used to, which I kind of, they want to be with their family at home with all their family and loved ones. I don't know what I would do if that was that. So I think I might want to do the same. But James says Shador is better than Simpson. Ty shouldn't go before 144. I think there's some other people that feel that way too, and I agree. I'd rather roll with Shador. Sorry. Ty Simpson might turn out to be great. Basically only had 1 year, and that year wasn't, he started off phenomenal and then got hurt, and then he was just so. I don't know. I don't like his size isn't all that great. I don't know. I think what you got with Shador's is good, if not better. So I wouldn't take him. But anyway, that was that. And then, well, I talked about it briefly here, but big rumor that was just put out there. It's being reported that teams at the top of the draft, the Arizona Cardinals, the Tennessee Titans, the Giants, even the Browns and the Commanders are all looking to trade down in order to accumulate draft capital, presumably for next year. So wouldn't surprise me. There's a few teams. I know it's the Commanders. They have a pretty big gap in their draft picks, and I 7, and I can't remember where they pick after that. I could see some people trying to target them, see if they can maybe recoup that second, third round pick. Titans, they're building. Cardinals, I could see any or all of them. It's just a matter of, does a team love a guy enough that wants to move up, and what are they willing to give up? I'll be curious to see how many teams are willing to trade first round picks. If they say is true, next year's draft is supposed to be the draft, one of the all-time great drafts ever. So be curious to see what teams are willing to possibly give up first round picks for next year. So we'll see. And like I said, I do kind of expect, I would not be surprised at all if the Browns were to trade back. I still think Andrew Berry would like to recoup some of those lost picks. He got the one last year. Wouldn't surprise me at all. So anyway, speaking of Browns draft picks, in case you don't know, we, like I said before, we have 9 total draft picks. In round 1, we have pick number 6 and pick number 24. Then in round 2, we have pick 39. Round 3 is pick 70. Round 4 is pick 107. Round 5 was pick 146 overall. And then another pick in round 5, which came from the Cincinnati trade, I believe it was the Flacco trade, is 149. So you're picking 3 picks later. So there's 2 picks in the 5th round. 6th round, which is another draft pick we got from the Chicago trade. That's pick 206. And then final pick as of now is round 7, pick 248th. No, it's not the last one. I think the last pick's like 257 or higher, but that was one we got in the Seattle trade. So those are our picks as of right now. I think the Browns probably are going to do some wheeling and dealing here. I'd be surprised if we made all 9 picks. Like I said, I'm kind of expecting, I'm kind of expecting the Browns to move back with pick 6. I also wouldn't be surprised if possibly with that 24th pick. Again, it's really going to depend on what direction they go, and it's if they go with those two, I think tackle and wide receiver are our biggest needs. Did they go offensive tackle with that first pick? There's probably about 6 solid receivers I would really like to have all but Tyson, but I also think come this draft, you might see a big run once. Obviously, the first couple are going to go, but then you're going to get to guys like Concepcion, Omar Cooper Jr., Denzel Boston, just to name a few. Is there going to be a run with those guys? So, wouldn't it surprise me? And then also with the tackles, obviously you got the two big ones at Fano and Maui Noah, but you also have some other big tackles out there. Blake Miller, Caleb Lomu, Monroe Freeling. I think there could be a run with those. So it's going to be really interesting to see if the Browns were to stand pat, do what they do at 6, and then they target another player in position they want at 24. Do they move up at all to try and get that? So it'll be fun to see. So, we'll have to figure it out. But anyway, on that note, I'm going to do my mock draft. I'm not going to pull up on the screen because it was so small to see. So I apologize about that. But I am going to do my latest. John didn't do a mock draft this time since he's out of town. He's off in the Virgin Islands living the good life. So he didn't do one, but I did. So good for you guys. You get to hear. So I'll run off my top 5 again. Let's see. My top 5 are going to be, well, I don't think anybody will question the first one, Fernando Mendoza. There we go. Sorry, my screens are acting up. I have with the first pick, everybody and their mother. I think the only thing we know for sure, at least I think for sure, is Fernando Mendoza. The Raiders are going to take quarterback Fernando Mendoza at 2. This one changed for me. I have the Jets now still staying with an edge player, but I have them going now with David Bailey. I know his stock's right up there with everything. I previously had Arvell Reese, but I do now have the Jets going with David Bailey at 3. I have the Arizona Cardinals now going with Arvell Reese, who prior, like I said, I had them going Mauanoa with their pick. So, James, we were talking about players and falling out. This could be one of those guys. It may fall out. I had him going 3, but not anymore. I have them looking at Arvell Reese, the edge out of Ohio State. With the 4th pick, I stayed the same, and I take that back. I had them going back. The Tennessee Titans going with Jeremiah Love, arguably the best player in this draft, especially offensive. I previously had them going with David Bailey. So that one changed. And then let's see. James said he could see it being just like that. Yeah, me too. I like the way you think, James. You're a smart guy. I knew I liked you. With the 5th pick, this is a little bit of a change. I had the Giants now going with linebacker Sonny Styles from The Ohio State. I previously had Love falling to him, but with the Titans taking him, I have them now going Sonny Styles. And on that note, let me cue the music here. There we go with that. And with the 6th pick in the 2000 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select wide receiver Carnell Tate from The Ohio State University. So I haven't had them going. I had them going best available. And in my opinion, there was a couple other guys that fell to them. But I am coming around now to them going with Tate. So as of right now, as of this week, I have the Browns going Tate. So I'm not going to read off the whole rest of the draft, but just to hit a couple points. In my opinion, with our divisional foes at 10, I have the Bengals going with Caleb Downs, and that's who I had him with last time. So I see that staying the same. And Kevin Brown, I think, brought this up. I have the Baltimore Ravens with pick number 14 going with the tight end Kenyon Sadiq from Oregon. I previously had them going with Jordan Tyson, but I switched it up a little, and I have them now looking at Sadiq, the stud tight end. So, and then at 21, I went offensive guard Vega Ione from Penn State. That's what I had him with last time. I don't know. I haven't changed that yet, although seeing Ty Simpson there makes me believe they feel he's going in the first round somewhere. Why not Pittsburgh, right? And then finally, to round out at least this one, with the 24th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select tackle Blake Miller. Wow. That was a delayed applause. I previously had Caleb Lomu, another tackle, going to him, but in my mock draft, I did. Somehow I had Blake Miller fall down. I like both of them. I think at that pick, both could be good picks. But right now, so I have them going the wide receiver tackle combo. We'll see. Could go the complete opposite way, or it could completely fool us and do something else, or like we talked about, possibly even just trade out. So we shall see. But that's it for this mock draft. My mock draft, anyway. That was my 3.0. Let me know what you guys think. Who you have the Browns taken as of right now, or do you care? Or you just want to wait and see? But anyway, I'm going to move on to one of our favorite segments, and we call this here The Land. And this week, with no John here, I got to do it again. So let me pull up a few things. I've been to this place before. I went with my buddy Chris. I've been there for breakfast. We like to work out in the morning, and then sometimes we'll go if we have time permitting, especially with my schedule. We will sometimes grab breakfast afterwards. And so this is a place I've been to before. However, that being said, this is the first time I've ever done lunch there. And let me pull that up. So the place I went to this time is an East Side establishment. Excuse me. It's called Joey's Avenue Eatery. It's in Wickliffe. They're at 30133 Euclid Avenue in Wickliffe, Ohio. Nice little, it's a nice little family diner. They say they serve home style comfort food. They're open 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I'm always on the quest for, a few things. Pizza, love me my pizza, and also corned beef. Like I said, been there before for breakfast. This time, me and my buddy Chris, we decided to go for lunch and wanted to see corned beef. I've seen this place, and I've passed by this all the time. One of the local grocery stores I go, it's right by there. I've never been there. I just started eating there this year. It's been my second time, and I've lived in Lake County for I don't even know how many years, 30 plus years. But this is my first time going there for the lunch. They boast about having the best corned beef around. So of course I had to find out for myself, and me and my buddy Chris, we went, and I got the corned beef sandwich, and I upgraded. They had half a pound corned beef, and they also had a full pound. And I think the difference was $4. So what do you guys think I'm going to pick? For $4 more, give me the twice as much meat. Give me the 1 pound corned beef. So that's a picture of my buddy Chris. I believe he got the Reuben, which is corned beef, but he did the Reuben style. I just went classic corned beef with Swiss cheese. And like I said, I believe it came with fries, and I believe that was $18 or $19. I think the other one's like 14 or 15. And if you double up, and I thought this was just maybe St. Patty's Day thing, but they serve this every day. And like I said, for me, my benchmark for great corned beef has always been Slyman's, and I got to be honest, this one did not disappoint at all. In fact, I thought it was phenomenal. They had the rye bread was fresh. The corned beef was thinly sliced. And that, to me, that's the key. Get that good, really thinly sliced corned beef that almost melts in your mouth. I don't like big chunks that can be chewy and stuff, but this was thinly sliced and even slightly shaved. Good flavor. It wasn't dry at all. And then, like I said, it was topped with Swiss cheese. And I like to add yellow mustard to mine. And like I said, in my opinion, Slyman's is still number one. But this one is right up there. I would put their corned beef up against anyone's. And there's a nice little close-up of the inside to see how it's shaved and stuff on there. And that leads me to another poll. I got to wait till John gets back and see these. There's now we can do polls. I wanted to ask everybody who has the best corned beef in the Cleveland area right now. I had 3 choices and another Slyman's, Joe's Deli, Joe's over in Rocky River is a very popular place. Here on the east side in the South Euclid area, Jack's Deli is also really popular. And I put 4th one, another other place. And if so, where? So who do you guys think has the best corned beef out there? Clip that. That'll be good to see for AI. But yeah, love to hear what you see. Slyman's, Joe's, Jack's Deli, or other place. Let me know where your corned beef is. Like I said, I love to get me a good corned beef. And that is definitely one I would definitely go back for here at Joey's Avenue Eatery. So shout out to them. Enjoyed it. And I will be back again with that. So anyway, there we go with that. That poll thing is pretty cool. I got to admit, I'm going to be doing that a lot. I'm going to drive John nuts with that. So should be fun. But look at us moving along. I think I will break under the hour. So we shall see. But anyway, you know what I thought about doing? I almost did this week, but everybody's making, if you look, you see it all over. I have on social media, they had the the McDonald's doing their big arch, and then Burger King announced they've got their new and improved Whopper. Full disclosure, I have had both separate times, but I almost was going to do this week. I was going to go to Burger King, grab a big arch and a Whopper, and then shoot over to McDonald's and grab one of those, put them side by side and do a comparison. But I didn't. So maybe I will. I'm trying to get in shape here. So eating 2 burgers like that's probably not the best idea, but I do love me a good burger. Again, probably what some people wouldn't believe is I don't eat a lot of fast food, believe it or not. So anyway, I'm curious to see if anybody's done that either, done both of them, but it'd be kind of fun to see. That would be interesting for sure. So anyway, that's it for, you're going to wind things down here. I'm going to pull this up if I can. And just want to thank you for joining me today. It was a little bit odd not having my buddy and partner in crime, John. Again, he's going to be back, I think, tomorrow. So I thought he said Thursday he gets back in. So it'd be good to see him, hear all about his vacation. Never been to St. John. Been to a few islands there in the U.S. Virgin, but not that one. So kind of curious to see how that one is. Again, want to let you know, you can subscribe on YouTube at There's a Gleam Podcast. You can follow us on Facebook. Facebook right now has been our fastest growing. I think we're somewhere around 700, give or take, after being up for a little over a month. So that's kind of cool. Like to get our YouTube subscribers up. Facebook, we're also at There's a Gleam Podcast. On X, you can follow me at Hemi44 and John's at Get the Gleam. Both on TikTok, John's at John There's a Gleam and I am There's a Gleam Podcast. And again, you can follow, subscribe on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify for the podcast. Again, look for There's a Gleam Podcast, a Cleveland Browns podcast. And like I said, we appreciate if you would subscribe, follow, share, like, help us spread the word. We're trying to grow here, and we're appreciate all the help we get. I'll always love to hear feedback from everyone. It's always fun. Next week should be a great show as well. I do believe we are going to be doing our mock draft special. So that one I think is going to be pretty much all mock draft. We might do, I'm going to talk with John, but I think we might do a full blown mock draft. And then trying to think, we're only 8 days away. So, which is affectionately known here in Cleveland as the Browns Super Bowl. But yeah, again, I'm kind of looking forward to that being over, get this draft thing done and see what we have and go from there. And let's do some damage here. Let's get to the season. I think the season for most of us can't come soon enough. So that'll be fun. And yeah, like I said, I know here in a couple days, we may have possible extra ticket or two for the Browns draft party. If you see this, you view this, leave a comment somewhere if you're interested. And if I get them, I will, either come up with something, maybe do a giveaway, or if there's only a few interested or one interested, maybe we'll give them somebody. But yeah, let's see. But we're going to be there for that. So again, want to so unofficially, we're going to be just under an hour. Right now, I got us at about 56-minute mark. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if it means with John, we talk too much together or what, but we're in at about an hour. So again, want to thank you for joining us. That was fun. It was interesting. Go Browns. And remember what Coach Marty would say.
It's a gleam, man. There's a gleam. Let's get the gleam, all right? Let's go.
All right, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day and go Browns.